Partnerships are vital to our global outreach, enabling us to take the love and hope of Jesus Christ to those who need it most. Our Boots on the Ground Partnership Program physically ministers to those in desperate situations all over the world. The Israel Partnership furthers Kim's legacy of outreach to Israel and Jewish people worldwide. We invite you to become a partner today. Join us today and be part of a community that inspires hope, brings restoration to life, and often healing from the past. Together, we can make a difference, and we thank you for your ongoing support.
Welcome to Real Life, Real Faith, where we are discussing real topics from real people and applying real biblical principles and faith to that. I am joined here with Pastor Fa and Christy, and we are going to be jumping into a big topic. But before we do, I want to encourage you to email us at realliferealfaith@houseofdestiny.org. We want to hear from you, have topic ideas, testimonies to say hey, but we definitely want to hear from you, so don't forget to email us. And the topic at hand right now is singleness. How do we remain single and thrive and all this kind of stuff within the modern world? So I'm going to kick it off and just say that I've been there. We all have. There's many phases of singleness, I feel. I feel like their choice is to be single. Someone's position or circumstance causes you to be single for the first time. Mm-hmm. You have other people, they're single out of divorce, out of their spouse dying, different things like that. So there's all these different categories of being single in different people's lives. And I feel like this can be a real good collective conversation because we come from different walks of life here. And I know that there's many different walks of life who's listening and watching. And so I'm coming to you guys trying to figure out how to be single in this world. Number one, where marriages are really attacked. Relationships, really commitment is just really attacked from all sides. And so I'm wondering, how do we effectively be single, remain holy, and do it the right way? Pastor Fall.
That's a big question. It's a hard one, isn't it? I remember being single we say in Christ, because something changes radically when you have an encounter with God, and then you realize you can really live His way. And, so there was being single outside of Christ and then being single in God. And I just remember the yearning and the desire, because you don't want to be alone, I think from the beginning of creation, we see God said to Adam, it's not good for man to be alone. Not to say you can't be happy as a single person. Then on the other hand, people say, I'll never be happy until I'm married. Well, okay, are you ready to die? Because marriage is total death to self. You want me to say that again? No? Okay, I'm going to say it anyway. Marriage is total death to self. Not that it's not the most amazing institution on the face of the earth, but you're not thinking for yourself anymore. The Apostle Paul chose to be single because he had such a passion for God and he could serve God 100%. I see people that are into things and they're able to do it 100%. Not all are in a godly sense, but still, marriage is, I don't want to say it's a distraction, but you can't live 100% the way you want to live because now you're one with someone else. So I think that we live, there was nothing I could do about my singleness. I mean, I could have, I guess, asked anyone to marry me, but obviously I didn't. That's not the answer. You really need to pray. You need to have wisdom. And fortunately for me, I met someone that I ultimately married. But use your time wisely. Keep praying. And, you can't get hung up on anything in this world. So if it's being single and it's really bothering you, you've got to change your focus, get some help, find your happy place, do whatever you do, especially using all the principles of God's word, because no matter if you're single or married, you're going to be unhappy if you're not happy in your heart already. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
I think also it can sometimes be the grass is greener sort of mentality. So when you're single, you think, like what Pastor Fa was saying, I'll be happy when I'm married. And then there's some people who are married going, I was so happy when I was single. And so I think it's a season of life thing. But at the end of the day, people say, well, two people coming together makes a whole. No. If you're not walking into something like that being whole already, I think it creates difficulty. And also, no matter what season of life we're in, we're going to face difficulties and trials. They just look different. Mm-hmm. It's still a mountain. It just might look a little different based on where you're at. So during a season of singleness, and I understand for some people that season can seem like it's really long.
Right.
But then you, on the flip side of it, do get people who feel like they got married too young. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I wish that I'd gone and traveled more or been able to do all these other things. So I think it's just, the Apostle Paul is the one who admonished us and said, we need to learn to be content in every situation. And I know that sounds so nice and fluffy in theory. It feels like people do put it on T-shirts, Contentment is only achieved through sacrifice, where we choose to, it's the age-old, sort of Christian term that we use, which is we have to lay things down. But I think to achieve the goal, which is peace, asking God for help, asking God for peace in each season of life. Value is not determined by whether you have a partner or not. The value that each person has comes because God chose us. And so I think that that's also a cultural thing, so often it's the scourge, and I think women feel it more. If there's an older man who's single, it's like, look at that guy, he's a little buckaroo player. Whereas with a woman, it's like, look at this, this poor old maid, look at her, this old handmaid, look at her. And that's firstly a double standard, which is incredibly annoying. And secondly, some people, it's a choice thing. Some people have decided to exercise wisdom and go, I don't think I'm prepared to die constantly if this isn't 100% for sure my person. But I think the biggest, if you're kind of just trying to look at it from an overall perspective, it's like finding contentment in whatever season is probably the goal we should all be working towards. Finding contentment and peace no matter what phase of life we're in, because this is the other thing. Even if you do get married, there's no guarantee. The reality is divorce rates are 50% in the church and 50% in the world. They're the same. So you don't know. Something tragic could happen with a spouse that gets ill and dies. Right. Divorce could happen. There's so many things that can go wrong, in as much as there's so many things that can go right. But thinking that getting married will fix everything in and of itself creates a whole host of problems. So my encouragement would just be causing the focus of what we're doing to be finding contentment, not a specific outcome that we think is going to make us happy. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with both of you. I think society has a lot to play when you were talking about, what they say to a man versus what they say to a woman.
Oh, yeah.
They show up at a function, it's like, hey, let me meet her. And then the next one is, you're bringing a different guy? It's totally different. It's just society is different, and that may not be in your family or your culture or whatever. That's totally fine. I'm just speaking from personal experience. Also, whenever you're brought up In certain cultures and religions, marriage is such a pressured thing, to have that. And I just would say, like, if you can remove everyone else's opinions of your singleness, everyone else's opinions on your relationship, remove that. And the ringing thing between all of us that has been said is you've got to work on you. You have to get to a place where you are fully whole within yourself, that where your foundation is strong in the Word, and then you can approach singleness. Because if not, you create this weird codependency in this relationship. Like, I'm only happy if I'm with someone, not even I'm with the one. You just need someone. And if that's the case, get you a BFF, go hang. Doesn't mean you got to Netflix and chill, but you can at least go Netflix, and you can be in this place where you're not isolated by your desires, because that's where the enemy will come in and tell you to just, it's okay. Like, don't worry. You need a minute. That's fine. Go swipe right. Like, you fill the void. And that is such a beginning of disaster. And so what I would just say to single people who are listening, don't allow the opinions of society or other people to dictate the outcome of your decisions, because you will rush and you will say, I'm just going to make everyone happy in my family. They like you. Cool. I like you. Let's get married. That's not going to last more than, I don't know how many years. You know what I'm saying? So, but all of those things, they work into that. You have the pressure of that. You have the pressure of ministry. If you're in ministry, a lot of times you can't be used unless you are married. That's not for all church, but that's some church. So there are many things that play into the pressure on singles. And then in today's just world, it's just crazy. So I would just encourage you to sum it up. Don't allow the enemy to isolate you. Don't allow yourself to isolate you. Don't be pressured by the opinions of others, and bury yourself in the Word. God is a jealous God. I wouldn't say that this is the statement for singleness across the board, but there's a reason why. If you do not have your time filled with another person, that's maybe God's moment to say, hey, I'm trying to talk to you. I want to know you. I want to know you. So I'm trying to clear out all distractions. And we might see singleness as, why is God punishing me? But sometimes that's God's tool to say, I want to talk to you. I'm jealous for you. I don't want anybody else to have your time. And just put that into a true relationship with you and Jesus. And those voids will start to be, those holes will start to be mended and filled. And all of the extra things that we do to fill those voids, you'll be whole, you'll be ready. And when you least expect it, when you stop saying, oh God, give me, I need a man. And instead, whenever it goes to that, and God, I just need you, then God will say, okay, now you're ready. Like, I'm your first, now here's, you know what I'm saying? So there's this trade-off. That's what I would say. Added to all of this great wisdom that we just heard, just don't get alone in a healthy way, but strive to have a beautiful relationship that God gives you. And patience is tough, but you can do it. You're not alone. If you are listening, you are watching, I just would encourage you to just support Real Life, Real Faith. We are coming together to discuss heavy topics, not for entertainment, but really for the betterment of you. We want you to have a great life in the faith. And so we are just doing what we know to do, and that's just share from personal experiences. So if you would love to continue listening and hearing from Real Life, Real Faith from us, just make sure that you click the support link at the bottom of your screen, and so your gift of love. We are going to take a moment and go into worship, but before we do, we want to give you a sneak peek at our next week's episodes, so stay tuned.
But I think there's as much danger in a troublemaker who's stirring up nonsense with a group of other believers and just being difficult for the sake of it, as there is in being told you're not allowed to ask any questions.
What is a leader? Jesus said, if you want to be great in God's kingdom, learn to be the servant of all.
Really, the issue is discernment. If you can't discern what is a true of God leader and what's not, that's where we get into dangerous territory.
Church leaders are not Jesus. And whilst the church is the body of Christ, it isn't Christ. And so if you've been hurt, my hope for you would be that we don't collectively and individually blame Jesus for the mistakes that his followers made.
When did I start to forget all of the great things you did? When did I throw away faith for the impossible? And how did I start to believe you weren't sufficient for me? And why do I talk myself out of seeing miracles? But you are more than able. Yes, you are. You are more than able. You are more than able. I've seen it with my own eyes. You are more than able. Who am I to deny what the Lord can do? I'll trust you. Yeah. And now I see all that I have, and I've got my confidence back. I put my trust in the one who still does miracles. You do miracles. You are more than able. And I'll trust you, I believe in you. You are more than able. You are more than able. Yeah. You are more than able. Who am I to deny what the Lord can do? I won't deny your power or your ability. Yeah, 'cause I've seen you do it time and time again. And can you imagine, with all of the faith in the room, what the Lord can do? What the Lord can do. It's gonna happen. Just let the way make it through. He's gonna move. He's gonna move. Can you imagine, with all of the faith in the room, what the Lord can do? What the Lord can do. It's gonna happen. Just let the way make it through. He's gonna move. He's gonna move. Can you imagine, with all of the faith in the room, what the Lord can do? What the Lord can do. And it's gonna happen. Just let the way make it through. He's gonna move. He's gonna move. 'Cause anything is possible if we believe. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. And who am I to deny what the Lord can do? Anything is possible. And who am I to deny what the Lord can do? 'cause you are more than able. You are more than able. You are more than able. I've seen you do over and over. You are more than able. Who am I to deny what the Lord can do?
When I started MyPillow, it was just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, with the help of my dedicated employees, we now have hundreds of products, some you might not even know about. To get the word out, we're having a $25 extravaganza. 2-pack multi-use MyPillows, $25. MyPillow sandals, $25. And for the first time ever, our 6-pack towel sets, you guessed it, just $25. Our brand new 4-pack dish towels, $25. And I've never done this before. Premium MyPillows with all new Giza fabric, any size, any loft level, even king size for only $25. And there's so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code for our $25 extravaganza. Order $75 and over. Your entire order ships absolutely free.
We here at the House of Destiny are partnering with you to let our viewers, of course, know about your company. It's Beverly Hills Precious Metal.
Andrew, explain how that works.
So I'll walk you through it right now. So if you go to bh-pm.com, right there on the homepage, you'll see a form that you could fill out. And that form is very important in letting us know how we can help you. So you just put in your first name, last name, email address, phone number. There's a section that says, how did you hear about us? And in there, put Kim Clement. And then there's a portion where you could write a couple of notes down on the bottom. Usually within about 24 to 48 hours, we'll contact you by phone call, and then we'll go over everything with you. This isn't a high pressure deal. We always recommend that if you feel uncomfortable, take a step back, pray about it. You will gain the answers that you need by doing that, and come back to us when you're comfortable.